from old Grandpa Brown, the one that helped build that church up there. Did you see his name on that thing?
No, I didn't see it.
Was it on that slip you got?
Yeah.
It was on there.
Yeah. Well, I might have, but I don't remember.
Right down at the bottom.
Where were you born?
Right there, Creaser Spring.
Creaser Spring. Well, how'd you meet your better half here?
Well, them dances up there, old guy and them, and we went up there and she was along with them.
Yeah.
We live right by his mother.
Yeah. How old was you when you left home? Your own.
I was 14 when I left home.
Where'd you go?
I went to work on a ranch.
On a ranch.
Catarina.
Well, when did you go to Old Mexico?
Oh, when I was about 17, I guess. 17, 18.
You was in there quite a bit of time then before you ever got married. Huh?
Oh, yeah.
What was your main thing you were doing in Mexico?
On a ranch, working cattle.
Is that right?
I was running the ranch. I was the boss of a ranch over there.
Big, lots of land, lots of territory, huh?
Yeah. About, I don't know, 80,000 acres.
8,000.
Pretty good horse trap.
Well, when you got married, y'all go back over there?
Same place.
Was you still there? Did you come in and get married and go back? Still had the same? Well, how long did y'all stay over there before you come back to Texas?
I don't know. Bobby was up walking around.
Was he?
Must have been a couple of years, I guess.
Well, when you come back to Texas, you get back in the oil, you go in the oil field?
Yeah, that's when I went to the oil field.
Yeah. Who'd you go to work for then?
We're down here from Mobile, here in Miranda City. Mobile.
You went in there to roughneck to start off with, huh?
Yeah.
How long were you roughnecking before you started running the rig?
Heck, I don't know, 4 or 5 years.
Yeah. Was that pretty deep stuff then? Or
no, it was around, 3,000 feet, 2,000 to 3,000, all this stuff over here.
Yeah. That's about the only thing you done then on, wasn't work no oil field?
That's all.
Yeah. Well,
I stayed with Mobile 9 years.
How old are you now?
73.
70?
September, I'll be 74.
74. What date's September?
15th September.
Well, when did you buy this place here?
I don't know.
You don't remember when that was?
I've been out here. How many years have we been here? 42 years or 44?
Is that right?
Yeah.
Right here.
In the 30s when we bought it.
Yeah.
We've been September will be 45 years.
45.
45 in September.
We was,
Big Pete will be 44.
old Pete was born. We come here one September, and then old Pete was born the next September. He was born right in there.
What year was Pete born?
I don't know.
Don't remember. What year was Pete born?
1934?
1934?
Yeah. Remember 1932.
We must come out here in 33, I guess.
Yeah. Well, did you plant that orange orchard out there that you used to have out there?
Yeah.
And well, did you say that you had watered it and that freeze come and what caused it to kill out?
Yeah, killed it all. I had several years before then.
Yeah, I know
we
you had.
planted it, and then we pumped water by hand and packed it in tubs and watered it.
Yeah.
First year, 2.
Well, I know when Gaith and I married, come out, y'all had oranges out there, lots of them.
And then that freeze come, and we just watered them. I just got this pump, electric pump here, and put it in this well to water them with, so I could water them. I just watered them, and they just busted them wide open, killed them all.
Oh no! Well, you didn't have to travel around so awful much in the oil field like I did you? You know, I had to just travel around from first one place.
No, I stayed right here in this country all the time.
All the time.
I mean, 100 miles, 125 a year. Well, there's always a bunch of rigs in this country running in.
Yeah. Well, did Archie and his daddy, did they start out in this country here just drilling water wells?
Yeah.
That's the way they started in the thing?
J.D. Long's son.
J.D. Long.
And then Johnny bought in. He bought a rig. They went in. They changed the name to the old man getting a little old, so they put it Long Brothers.
Yeah.
That's where they started. He got them started. The old man was pretty well known. He got lots of jobs for him because he knew lots of people. Of course, Mobile, he done a lot of work for Mobile over there. He drilled all them wells there on his place and sold them water, And he got them contracts with Mobile. That's where they got started.
Yeah. Well, you worked for Archie then a good long while, didn't you?
21 years.
Yeah.
Long, brother.
Well, did Archie run the rig some himself?
Yeah, when he first started, he
Yeah.
did. Yeah, he ran the rig. So did Johnny.
Both of them. Yeah. Well, and after you got kind of settled here, wasn't very long as you got your few cows on this place here? You had cows most all this time?
All time. Well, when we had it root plowed, I sold them out and root plowed it and let it get good. That's been, I don't know, 12, 14 years ago, and I've had cattle all up to this year.
Yeah. Well, it's when it gets to dry that way, and
when it goes to cost you more than it's worth, but I mean, you can't make no profit on them. Why?
Just get rid of them.
Let's get over and start over again. Of course, they were gentle cattle. I raised them and could handle them, call them and do everything. Why? But of course, I'll have to start over again.
Well, do you think you won't start again? Wouldn't you rather just be free where you can go?
Well, in the summer, yeah, but in the winter, I don't. I like to have cattle here and mess with them.
Yeah.
I don't like to go. I like to stay around the house.
Well, probably your neighbors here probably take care of them while you're gone. Then,
Yeah, they do anyway. They take care of my stuff when I'm gone.
Yeah.
Feed my dog and everything else. Water the yard. But I just like to have something to fool with.
Yeah, I can see.
Summertime, don't much. I can go. I don't mind going off, and staying. Like going up the lake. I'm going up by the 30th, the lake. Stay there till the 6th. 5th, I guess we'll come back to 5th.
Well, getting up that early, you can get you a good place to camp, probably.
Yeah, I have to, because you can't. You wait there to last, you don't get no place. On water.
I guess Pete will make it this time, won't he?
Yeah, he's been making it. He's been making it every year. Well, I guess, golly, I don't know. 10 years, I guess we've been going up there.
Is that right?
Yeah.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
I'd kind of like to be able to get up there this year. We might be able to do it when y'all are all gathered up there and get up there and get a motel there somewhere. Get up there early enough and probably get rooms. You wait until around the 4th.
You can call up there. That's what Pete and them do.
Yeah.
They call up there somewhere and get a motel.
Yeah. What do? They usually get in there around the 3rd or something?
Yeah, sometimes around the 3rd. I don't know what to do. It's going to mess him up this year. I don't know. He may take off on Saturday. And I'll go back. See, Monday's the 3rd and Tuesday's the 4th, see? So I don't know what he's going to do. What time. Well, I go and get there, and then they come over every morning, and stay, and they boat ride, ski, and everything all day long.
Y'all do much fishing?
No.
You said when you was about 17 years old, you left home and went to work on a Texas ranch. Where was that Texas ranch?
Well, I was 14 years old. I went to work on Catarina.
Well, how far out was it?
About 35 and 40 miles from Quisa. South Ashton, there.
Well, was there any houses or anything around you out there?
Well, that ranch house where we stayed.
Yeah. Well, did you round up cattle or what?
No, first went to work was horses, mares, horses.
Yeah. What was your job with them?
Well, taking care of them horses, mares. We had, instead of cattle, we had mares. Had about 300 or 400 mares.
Yeah.
And them jacks, them high-priced jacks from Missouri.
You bred these?
Yeah, that's what we done.
Got you some mules.
Mules, that's what we raised.
Yeah.
We had 11 of them jacks and 3 stallions.
Uh-huh.
And that's what we done the first year I worked.
Would you stay in a bunkhouse?
No, we had a regular ranch house.
Yeah.
We cooked and eat right there in the ranch house.
Yeah. Well, what was the man that owned the property? You stayed with him or what?
No, he was a boss. The old man that owned it lived in Colorado, old man Green.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Hmm.
We stayed there in the ranch. We got our board, $1 a day on board.
Well, did you have to drive them off anywhere to sell them?
Well, we'd bring them in there and breed them every morning and keep that up, get a bunch of them, about 40, 50 of them, and we'd breed them and breed one, turn them out, and then next morning, same, a day in, day out. We got them all bred.
Well, whenever you accumulated all of them, how'd you get them to the market?
What? We didn't sell them, we used them.
Oh, you used them there?
Yeah. Used them on that range.
Well, did they ever turn them in? Did they ever turn into the cattle ranch? Did they ever develop it into cattle while you
Not there, they never did. It stayed horses, that's part of it. There's 200,000 acres in that old ranch, the rest of it was cattle. But we worked in the horse department. Mares, raising mules.
Yeah.
About a year.
Well, now, then when you jumped over into old Mexico, did you have to ride the trail or do anything over there about getting the cattle in and out over there?
Yeah, we brought them out of there, selling them this side.
How far did you have to travel on that?
Well, one place there about 80 or 90 miles. Took us about 5 days.
Yeah. Would you have a pretty good bunch in the herd?
About 3,000.
3,000.
Yeah.
Great. How many cow punchers was there?
There's about 16 of us. Day and night. We didn't have no pens. We watched them day and night.
Would you travel with them just in daytime? And
Yeah, then at night we'd bed them down and ride just round and round.
You having trouble with anybody?
Well, never had no trouble. Body, we had one stampede one night. Raining and lightning and stampeded them. We lost, I don't know, 4 or 5 heads off.
Had a job getting them back together.
Well, it took us dinner the next day to get them together.
You brought them back into the United States to sell them, huh?
Sold them, yeah.
Would you swim the river?
Well, we did for a while, and then they quit. They wouldn't let us do it anymore. They made us bring them out to Eagle Pass and cross them on the bridge.
Walk them across.
Walk them across. And I'll tell you that we had it, too. Dang. And the thing get coming down them little narrow streets, them old gals would get a pan and throw at them, or the dogs would bark at them, and we had that. We was all day crossing a bunch of cattle there. They'd shut the bridge off, you see, and then we'd start. They'd shut it off. And let us get that bunch soon, and then they'd open it up, and then we'd go back to these corrals we had out on Edge Town where we had them. Get another bunch. It was all day long. And of course, them on the river wouldn't take but just 2 or 3 hours. Get them started, man, an hour at a time and go on. But after you once started them,
yeah,
we caught good many herds there on the bridge. But we even built dipping bags. We had to dip them, They would dip them. Had to be clean before they'd bring them over here. And we had a dipping vat and everything right on the banks of the river. But they got crossed some way. The government, they didn't want to send them in, but they don't want to come down there and inspect them, something. So they stopped it to go the bridge across. So we had it. It'd have been better. I don't know why they didn't put them on train. Load them on train, ship them across.
Well, where was your marketplace? In Laredo?
I don't know. Well, I didn't. We just brought them. Somebody bought them on this side.
Oh.
We just brought them to the end of the bridge, and there's another outfit over here received them.
Oh.
That's the way we done to the river. We just crossed them. They had another cow outfit on the other side that took them. We got them on the other side. That's all we had to do.
Then y'all just beat it right on back to the range, huh?
Yeah.
Well, did they pay you once a month, or how did they pay you back them days?
Well, whenever you wanted it.
You needed it.
Sometimes we 3 or 4 months for it pay us.
Yeah. Well, when you got to be foaming that ranch out there, for that day and time, you're getting along pretty good on your salary then, wasn't you?
Yeah, well, yeah, I get $100 a month.
$100 a month. Was that after you got married? Did you have a place? Was y'all getting your board and room there? Or?
Yeah, well, when we furnished in Mexico, all we ever furnished were the clothes.
Yeah.
They furnished everything else. That was just understood over there. You saw you took with your clothes. They furnished everything else.
Yeah.
Of course, they didn't have too much furnish. Them stores didn't have the stuff that they had, you know.
Well, now, when you're raising these cattle over there in Old Mexico, you had to spend an awful lot of time on the range, didn't you?
What do you mean?
Get out with the cattle every day and work with them.
No, we didn't mess with them. We didn't work them but once a year.
Yeah, but then you have to...
Well, we tried to watch them for worms and stuff like that. We rode every day out. You rode them out among them, and kept up the fence. We had guys that didn't do nothing but ride the fence, you know. None others that didn't do nothing but check the cattle all the time.
Had to do quite a bit of riding, didn't you?
Huh?
Had to ride several hours, didn't you?
Well, you rode from daylight to dark.
Good gracious.
Then you left at daylight and you got in about dark.
Yeah.
Sometimes you come in for dinner. If you didn't, you had to take your dinner with you. Put it in your jacket pocket.
But you kind of enjoyed it, didn't you?
Well, yeah, I enjoyed it. Did. No, nothing. It didn't bother me. I didn't.
We were making a living.
Yeah. Had good horses and everything. That's one thing in Mexico. They had good cow horses. God dang, they had some good. And lots of them. We had 2 full.
Right. How far up in the country did you go to?
Oh, we went up there that long drive, way up there down my mountains up there above Del Rio back up there. Oh, we wasn't very far out. We went about 45, 50 miles out where we started. Then brought it back down here. It was about 70, 80 miles back out up in the mountains there.
Yeah. And you'd start about daylight with them when you're coming back?
Yeah.
And drive them till about dark?
Well, it depends on everything. Some days we'd drive them pretty hard, and then the next day we wouldn't drive much, see. You had to go by your water.
Yeah. Well, did you, did you have somebody that was cooking on this train?
Oh, yeah, you had to cook all the time. One of them, we had 2 cooks. Had 2 wagons, one bed wagon, one a cook wagon. I had 2 of them drive, too many men.
Yeah.
And then each cook had him a helper to hook his mules up and get his wagon ready. There was 2 to each wagon.
And were all of you together at the same time, or just yeah.
No, you couldn't eat all. Somebody had about on them cattle. They didn't about half of them eat at a time.
Yeah. The people that already eat, they'd go back out.
And then let the other bunch come in. But when it was working cattle at the ranch, well, we had all that together there.
Yeah.
We didn't have as many men. We'd have about 10 men, something like that. But on them drives, we had 16 punchers. Besides the wagon men and horsemen, we had 3 horsemen. I mean, took care of the horses, you know. That's all they done. Just drove the horses and took care of them.
Well, how many days approximately would you think the time you went up there and got this bunch and got back with them? How long?
Oh, we was about 16 days.
16 days.
Yeah.
You about ready to get back to the bunkhouse? Huh?
Yeah, I was ready. I didn't herd at night. I didn't have to herd. I just
Yeah. Well, what was in the herd? Just all cattle?
cattle. That was all cows, calves.
Yeah.
But that kind of thing we crossed the river was all steers.
Oh.
That's what they sold over here was steers.
Well, now this bunch that you went up there to get, had an arrangement already been made and it was already bought and everything?
No, they hadn't sent them or took them up there. You got dry down there and they round them up and took them up there. Till it rained this lower country and then we brought them back.
Oh. They were just changing territory.
Yeah, that's all.
Well, did you help take them up in there?
Yeah.
Would you stay up there a while with them?
I stayed there all the time I was there.
Oh.
Before I was married, I stayed down in the camp, had a tent. Me and 2 more Mexicans. There was 3 of us, stayed there all the time.
Good.
And we put a tent over on the road, and them dang soldiers and things come along there and steal his groceries, and they had took all their groceries. So we moved it, hid it up there in the canyon where they couldn't find it. Went and bought more groceries, and they couldn't find it up there, so nobody bothered us. We hid it up there in the canyon.
Yeah. They didn't try to bother y'all. They
just come by there and see that camp had all them groceries, and they latch on.
Okay.
They're down there close to a public road. I didn't like the deal at first, but there's a nice tank of water there. And we finally found a spring over there, right close. Oh, a spring a little further than here, it's the windmill, I guess. We was up on that thing and right down on them big canyon, the spring water running all the time in that gravel. So we just put a camp and stayed there till we finished up. So we moved them out.
How many, do you have an idea about how many was in the herd that you take up and bring back?
Yeah, we knew, counted them.
Did you?
There was about 2,000 them cows.
At one time, huh?
Yeah.
Man, wow. And when they come back, they drop a bunch of calves.
Oh,
huh?
yeah, had a bunch of calves, yeah.
Well, did this fella own all that land up there?
Yeah, Long King Pass Lumber Company.
No. He was this rancher that owned all this land. He just had a deal to take them up to that part of the
Yeah,
country.
he rented it from somebody else
Yeah.
up there.
Well, that's a pretty good bunch of cattle.
Yeah. Well, heck, there was over 200,000 acres in that outfit over that ranch up there. Big outfit. Big ranch.
You just, in other words, you transferred all of them. You take
Well, most
everything,
of them, yeah. We took
nearly
most of them
everything
up
up
there.
but there wasn't much left at the regular ranch house then, was
Yeah, there wasn't much left. No, actually trained me. I mean, of course, a lot of them men, we had about 2, 4, 6, 8 of them guys that worked all the time. Stayed there, worked the year round.
Yeah.
And the extra was hard, so they knew what to do, and they keep tabs of them others, you know. And we never did have no trouble with them. They never did quit and run off or anything. They just stayed with you. Finally leave till you got back.
Well, the time you left that ranch and got up there, and
Well, it was about 3 months.
3 months old
Yeah.
around there. Well, that's some of that I guess is pretty rough then.
Huh?
Some of that I guess was pretty rough then, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Staying away from up there like that.
Well, out there in the camp, cut 2 old boys, and they're pretty good guys and knew how to cook pretty good, you know. And we done pretty good.
Bed is all right, huh?
Yeah, I had a cot. And I wanted milk, so we finally got us an old cow out there, and they had a little old canyon right close there, and we stopped it up with brush, put that cow in there, and we had to tore her down the first few times. The young cow, but it's pretty good bag. We keep that little calf in there, and we go get her, and we finally got her where we could milk her pretty good. And we make butter and everything. That old boy, I had one old boy work for. He loved that butter. He'd make it every time, boy. He liked to make. They took an old baking powder can about that long, and got me a stick there and put a cross on it, and that lid, and churn it. Boy, you make that butter. And what I mean, that's good buttermilk too.
Yeah. That little cow paid off, didn't it?
Yeah. We had an arbor. We built this arbor there, and then we built us a thing with wire up under there, and made a little table like and swung it up there so the ants wouldn't get on it, and put that milk in there and wet rags, and it stayed pretty cool.
Yeah.
And that's where we kept our milk.
And you had your swimming pool down there, swimming hole where you bathed.
Yeah, we washed down there.
Wash your clothes,
Yeah.
taking your bath.
We didn't go out there on that place and run into the tank around noon, maybe. We just jump off, swim, wash our clothes while we're swimming, hang them out on a tree, and it would take a little bit. By the time we get through swimming, they'd be pretty dry, and we'd put them on. Ready to go again.
Felt better too, didn't you?
Oh, yeah.
Well, that's been an interesting life to do something like that. While you're young, had the time to do it, you know.
I'd rather, if I was camping out, I'd rather stay in a tent than a dang house. You didn't mess up and have nothing sweet or nothing. Heck, we didn't want a broom or nothing. We just stay outside. Oh, it's a pretty nice deal, too.
Well, what you made, you actually got to keep most of it. You you wasn't having to spend it for your upkeep or anything.
Oh, and I'm up to buy breeches and a shirt once in a while. That's all. Yeah, a pair of boots maybe once every year or two. That's all. Hat.
Well, those boots you bought back them days, they were comfortable, wasn't they? When you'd buy them, couldn't you just wear them all day and not give your feet much trouble?
Yeah, or you could have them shop made. I got mine. I actually got up pretty good. I have mine shop made.
Yeah.
They fit good. Well, we never did walk. What I mean, we
Didn't have to walk much.
didn't have to walk out there and catch a horse. Maybe that's it.
But what did you do about your spurs? Did they wear out, or did you have to?
No, they'd wear out, but it'd be a long time.
And
I still got some of my old spurs up there. Got my old spurs and old saddle, quirts. Still got my old hat in there, but they mauled about ate it up. That thing's what, 51 years old, that old hat is.
Is that right?
Yeah. Dig it.
Well, those spurs you got out there are pretty old too, aren't they?
Yeah, I guess so. I don't know what they're about 60 years old, I guess.
Did you say you had a saddle?
No, I got a saddle, but it wasn't the saddle I used then. I left it over, and the old boy got it over there. He was supposed to pay me for it, but he never did. I left it over. I figured I might want to go back, so I didn't want no trouble to pay duty back on it again. So I left the saddle over there.
Wasn't worth going back afterwards.
Well, no, not then. It was worth about $70, $80, I guess. A.M. Rice saddle from Uvalde. Pretty good saddle over there. That side they couldn't raise kids, family over there. Better stay on this side, finally. Go back.
Left the range for the oil field lot.
Yeah. Yeah, I left trade around Crease there a week or two and then come down here, and here I am. I thought that 50 cents an hour, $6 a day. I was, well, 3 years, I'll have mine made. I'll leave this oil field. I'm still here.
You went to school there in Creek Springs then, huh?
Yeah. All but about 3 or 4 years, I went to school out here in Corn County, and then down there out of Cuero down there, a little town called Gillette, and then over here, a little town out of Farm City, Sister Hole over there.
And when you got about 14 years old, someone, you just went right out in the range.
Yeah, well, I was when I was younger. That's when the war started. And we moved from out to Crease. That's when Daddy died there then. And me and the two brothers and Mama, we went back to Crease. And I went to school 2 years out there. I guess I must have been 12, I guess. Went 2 years, and then I quit and went to working. During the war in 1918.
Yeah. My dad had to register for that war, but they didn't ever call him. There was 4 of us kids, you know, and so he was working on the railroad there. But we thought it was terrible because he even had to register, you know.
Well, I didn't. This last war I registered in. They didn't take me off the old, but I registered anyway.
I don't remember if I registered. I don't think I did. I left the oil field and went over there and went to work at that rubber plant in Pasadena.
Well, I had to register, but
Well, the work you was doing was go right along with defense anyway, you see, getting oil for the deal.
Yeah, we got gasoline and everything. Plain gasoline cars.
Yeah.
We didn't have no trouble with that. Coupon. That Rio Grande City, that's the common guns down there. I didn't have a bit of trouble getting tar and gasoline. I knew them old boys on the board down there, and there's oil men too. And heck, we just go up there and tell them want some tar. They just give us a ticket and we go get it. Most time I wouldn't even have a ticket. I want a tar before I'd go up there, and I'd have a meeting once a week. So I'd go ahead and get it and then get the ticket. I didn't have no trouble.
Pete, you mentioned to me once you'd like more of your daddy's history, and I recorded this around June the 20th of 1978 at his home out in his backyard, and also recorded Mrs. Despain in March of 1974. She was 94 and a half years old.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see. 'Twas grace that taught my heart to fear, and grace my fears relieved. How precious then that grace appeared, the hour I first believed. Through many dangers, toils, and snares, I have already gone. 'Twas grace that brought me safe thus far, and grace will lead me home. When we've been back in 1,000 years, bright shining as the sun, we'll know this day to sing our praise. Then when we first shore, we will sing on that beautiful shore the melody songs of the blessed, and the spirit shall sorrow no more. Not a sigh for the mansions of rest, in the sea by and by. We shall meet on the beautiful shore, in the sea by and by. We shall meet on the beautiful shore, to our bountiful Father above. We will offer our tributes of praise. For the glorious kingdom below, and the blessed of hallowed days, in the sweet by and by, we shall be on the